Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice, and we're kind of starting in the very beginning again, because last time we got our second bad ending, and there's actually a lot more. So the guide, thank God someone has now already gotten a guide up on Steam, because I was like, I wanted the Steam page, or I was just like, looking at like my game page, and then I was like, wait, guides, wait, someone has a guide, thank God, because it's way better. I don't know how the hell we ended up, because I was looking at ours, and I was trying to, like, check between, this person actually at least wrote the name with the choices and the answers, as opposed to A, B, 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 A, B, A, whatever. But I was writing them in my thing along, and then, like, this one says, that one said B, and this one says A, and that one says this, and I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't even, and it gets to the point where I'm writing all the answers, and then I was like, okay, this is where, say, our bad ending, the first one we got, where we told him to eat us, right? And I'm at a point writing it, and it's not, and I was like, how the fuck? I'm like, how do they rectify this? Because that guide had, like, a bunch of choices in there, and, like, so say I was, like, on line 15, where I'm writing in the guide on Steam, like, this is where you get your bad ending, and I got 5 more, I'm like, so how the hell they get more choices? I don't know. I don't even know. Whatever. But the one that I had originally written down and found had 3 bad endings. There's actually 4, I think? I'm not sure, because the way the guide goes, it goes through and it tells you make a save 1, save 2, save 3, save 4, save 5. But when you load save 1, after you get the happy ending, it's load save 1, there's 2 different choices, and then it's continue reading until you reach previously read text. So I'm guessing it's just, save 1 isn't really giving you another bad ending, it's just different text, like, more different text than, say, other ones where you're gonna get a line or 2 difference between saying yes or no to something, right? You know? So there must be like a big conversation point that's different there. And then you load save 3 and get a bad ending. So I think there's 1, 2... I think there's 4. We've already gotten the 1. We tell them not to eat me, so we're going to kind of skip that one. I'm not 100% sure which of the other ones we've gotten, because every choice, call out to the surprise visitors no, and then you get a bad ending. Or then there's another choice beyond, I think it might be where we normally would do save 4, because save 3, and then it's like, well, I mean, we'll get there, but will you break out of your restraints, yes or no? We said yes. And then save 4 is, will you call out to the visitor no, you get a bad ending. But then if you do yes, then there's a different choice after that we didn't get to. So, like, only in save 3, you choose not to break out of your restraints and not to call out to the surprise visitor and you get a bad ending. But if you choose yes and then no call it, then there's an additional choice. Like, I don't know. So, at any rate, we're going to get the good ending, and we're going to kind of save where we're supposed to save, except for save 2, because I know we've gotten that ending. But anyway, so we're going to start kind of from the beginning. Let's skip previously read text. So we're going to skip through everything's... Okay, we can't listen to the theme song yet. All right. To whom do you swear? And we're supposed to swear to Gretel, which we already did. I'm going to see where we veered off the path, right? Would you like dessert? Yes. According to my first guide that was Christmas tree, you were supposed to say no. But this one says yes. And that's not why we got a bad ending. We got a bad ending because we're like, eat me, Gretel. And that was apparently the wrong choice. I don't know. But, and the fun thing is now I've got my TV hooked up as a guide because this is full screen, and let me tell you something. I have to have 4 different tabs open to show the guide because I can't take my mouse off of the game when it's full screen to scroll over to my other monitor. So I literally have as much as I can see on one, and then I have another panel, I've got them stacked so I can read the whole freaking guide because I don't know where we're going to get to. Will you stay and watch the house? We're supposed to say no. First wrong choice then, thank you. Oh, and I guess... Well, okay, so I guess there really wasn't much of a difference. We say no, but he's like, ha ha ha. Will you be honest with Gretel? Yes. Wait, it's only... Yeah, previously read. It's all supposed to be skipping. So I guess whether you stay and watch the house, yes or no, nothing really changes there. Will you fight back? We're supposed to say no. Okay, cool. All right, good. I'm just making sure. I gave up all pretense of resistance. At this, Gretel scoffed. Well, aren't you a good girl? If I flailed around, you might see my panties. You've made the right decision. He lifted my leg into the air, took out a green ribbon, and tied it around my ankle. And this is previously read, but we are supposed to save here. So let's go over, let's just start up here and save one. Okay. And then we'll skip. Do you have a problem with it? I don't know what we have a problem with. No. What are we doing? Then what exactly do you have a problem with the two of us living here? Oh, okay. What did I say before? Yes? Yes? Man, we hadn't fallen in the rabbit hole of crazy. No, that's not it. I'm angry because you constantly disregard my right to autonomy. Autonomy, huh? There was a pregnant pause. Is that all it takes to rob you of your autonomy? Some wrist restraints? Confused, I furrowed my brow. Suppressing the impatience I felt, I willed myself to stay calm. Listen, Gretel, we're going to be living here together, right? Yes, that's right. And yet you expect me to stay tied up the whole time? No free will of my own? Don't you think maybe it's a little inhuman to take the power of choice away from me? Perhaps so. But let me ask you this. If you want your freedom so badly, don't you think you need to earn it? What do you mean? Today you disobeyed me and let a total stranger into our house. Isn't that right? Well, yeah, but... My words faltered. He was right. I mean, who is that guy anyway? You know him, right? No idea. It's a mystery to me, too. Wait, what? I blinked. I don't know who he is or what he's got up his sleeve, but he's useful to me, so I'll make use of him. End of story. I fell silent. He was so desperate to imprison me, he accepted assistance from someone he couldn't be sure he could trust. Given how clever you are, I imagine you've already started to piece together exactly where we are. I paused to think about it. I mean, we kind of sort of... A summer home somewhere? This is similar to what we've read. He didn't answer. Instead, he smiled knowingly. But I wanted to get some kind of response out of him, so I decided to tell him everything I'd worked out. It's been 2 days since I first got here. Or maybe longer, since I don't know what day of the week it is. You claim you've been going to school, but to me it feels like you come home way too quickly. You probably haven't been going to school at all, have you? What have you been doing out there, Gretel? Your brilliant mind never ceases to amaze me, sister. He stared out into space for a moment. His expression seemed almost sad. Now I was starting to worry. Come on, Gretel, talk to me. I can tell you're doing all this for a reason, and it's important to you. But is this really the only way? If I had any other option, I would have taken it by now. But surely you realize this can't last forever. His gaze faltered for a moment, then returned to me. You know that, right? If the rest of the family finds out we ran away from home and stopped going to school, they're going to come looking for us. If they find out we ran... Oh, right. We haven't remembered at this point that we grabbed him and dragged him away. They know we're missing. No, they won't. He shot back coldly. Those people have abandoned us. Right, okay, this is in the beginning where we think this. Abandoned us? Yeah, I said it. Okay, so a few points of conversation are the same when if you have a problem with it versus not having a problem. Like, they abandon us and like, oh, where are we? In the summer house type of a thing. But most of it's different. I paused to think, was it possible? Could they have actually abandoned us? Do you believe Gretel? Oh! Maybe that's why. We haven't gotten this choice before. Interesting. Okay, so maybe that's why the guide that I had was kind of messed up. But the weird thing is they had more options than the guide from Steam has. And the guide from Steam has this choice. We never got this choice because we didn't... Do you have a problem with it? Yes. Do you believe Gretel? Or, I mean, somehow, maybe if we... I feel like we did make this choice. As much as I wanted to have faith in the rest of my family, I don't want to believe that Gretel was lying to me either. I kind of feel like we did get the choice, but it doesn't look like we did. But maybe it's because if we say, yes, we have a problem with it, leads to a slightly different do you believe Gretel choice, but it shouldn't. Or the game thinks that I haven't played this far when I have. Somehow. Fucking weird. I don't know. As much as I wanted to have faith in the rest of my family, okay, I didn't believe that Gretel was lying to me either. I don't really care if you believe me or not. I'm not taking orders from anyone. I'm going to do exactly what I want. He rose to his feet and tied the ribbon to the birdcage in the center of the room. Okay, this is different. He never tied it to the room. I do so love to see you all wrapped up like a gift. I mean, that was definitely different. No, it doesn't act like it's different. Huh. The room was quiet, save for the faint rustling of flipping pages. I was lying on the bed. Gretel was sitting on the chair in the center of the room, reading a book. This might actually be different. I was too far away to get a clear look at the front cover, but I could tell it was some kind of math textbook. Given the circumstances, it was almost laughable of him to keep up on his schoolwork. Either that or he was completely insane. Honestly, the more I tried to see things from his perspective, the less I understood. He seemed like a sinner and a saint all wrapped up into one. He teased me, provoked me, and tied me up, yet he never went further than that. Even his most condescending commands were never enforced. His worst offenses never crossed the line. Granted, this was all just my personal opinion. Other people would probably feel differently, and obviously it didn't make his actions permissible. But if he was going to hurt me, he would have done it by now. What you doing? You over there talking to yourself? Oh, you talking to your bird friend? Take these wrist restraints, for example. If push came to shove, I could untie them myself, or even burn them off. And we've done both. I could escape if I needed to. And there was no way a guy as smart as Gretel had somehow failed to realize that. Want me to help you with your schoolwork? I called out to him in a cheerful voice, hoping to clear away the awkward tension from earlier. No, thank you. Come on, don't be shy. I'm not being shy. He answered flatly, without sparing me a single glance. Could either one of you actually, not be a spaz? I pouted my lips. Then finally he looked up from his book. Are you bored? Yeah. And then go to sleep. I'm not tired. I see. His gaze returned to the book. There's nothing to do here. I'm bored. I flailed my legs in protest. But Gretel just ignored me, so I gave up. Couldn't even entertain myself by throwing a tantrum. If we're at home, I could be cooking or cleaning or doing laundry right about now. If we were at home. Hi, could you stop screaming, please? I muttered sulkily. The main room was fairly large, but here in total silence, any small sound would echo. You should be grateful you don't have to waste your time with all that anymore. Doing chores is never a waste of time. Kinda is. Well, aren't you a saint? Come on, let's play a game or something. At last, Gretel closed his textbook. Do you want to play cards or something? I can't play cards without my hands. Okay then, how about word chain? The first word is chain. Okay, your turn. Nectarine! Equinox. I should have known Gretel wouldn't make this easy on me. Xylophone. Earwax. Xenophobia. Apex. Xenograft. Tax. Oh my god! Xanthic. Complex. Xenotransplantation. How do you know so many words that start with X? I memorized a whole bunch a long time ago, specifically in case this ever happened. This is fun. We didn't get this part the last time. I smirked smugly. Clearly you have no life. So you're giving up? Because that means I win. Suit yourself. For the record, there are far more words that end in X than start with X. This wiped the smirk right off my face. I flopped down on the bed and turned away from him. Ha-ha! But if you can find a word that starts in X and ends in X, then you can throw that word out there, and then he has to start a word with X, and then he's fucked. Fucking lawyered. There you go. I flopped down on the bed and turned away from him. Oh, that reminds me. Did you want to take a bath today? Yes, please. I shot back up again. Even I was impressed with how quickly I was able to change my tune. And perhaps you could pass the time with a nice long soak. They say it stimulates the metabolism, too. Are you saying I need to lose weight? Rude. I scowled. Not at all. If anything, that would detract from your big boobs. I hate to see you lose one of your best features. Desperately, I bit back the urge to scream. Seeing as how he somehow knew my panty size, it really came as no surprise to think that he probably knew my cup size as well. Just to be clear, you aren't going around making these inappropriate comments to anyone else, are you? Of course not, sister. With any other girl, I'm a perfect gentleman. You could be a gentleman with me too, you know. That said, this came as a bit of a relief. I was happy to know that he limited this rude, unreasonable behavior to me only. In a way, it made me special. And I liked the idea of having a special connection with him, even if it wasn't romantic. Now then, I've got a change of clothes prepared for you, so go on in. Great. What costume is he going to put me in this time? How do you respond to invite him to join you? That's not even... we don't even get to choose that. But I want to. Anyway, do as you're told. Okay, well, untie me first. Fine, fine. Gretel rose from his chair and walked over to me. Wait. What is it? He came to a stop and fixed me with a long stare. On second thought, I think I should hop in first. Is that okay with you? Huh? Sure, I don't mind. I tilted my head inquisitively. Don't get up to any mischief while I'm in there, all right? We get up to mischief, all right. Is this reverse psychology? Of course not. I'm not you, you know. I laughed. I see. All right then. I'll see you in a bit. And with that, he disappeared into the bathroom. Whew! Now then. Once I confirmed that the door was shut, I got up from the bed. Now that Gretel's in the shower, you decide to... Yeah, these are choices we didn't have. I was like, I don't remember. Like... Well, like, how do you respond to his request? That one I didn't remember if we did or not, but like, I'm like, the shower, I don't remember that, but whatever. Maybe it was so early in the game. No, we just never got it. We play a prank. Time to get my revenge for all the humiliation he's put me through. I totally sounded like a villain from a shonen manga, but I didn't care. Oh, one last thing. Yeah! And so the villain's plan was foiled in one fell swoop. Why? Because Gretel had walked out of the bathroom in his underwear. As if someone had shown a flashlight in my face, I immediately realized I couldn't put my hands over my eyes, so instead I squeezed them shut. Listen to you. How vulgar. You're supposed to be a woman, so why do you scream like an old man? What's the matter with you? 'Cause I'm an old lady. I could hear the annoyance in his voice. Oh yeah? Well, what's the matter with you? Either put on a shirt or shut the door. Okay, I've shut the door. Nice try, Gretel. I meant go back inside. It appears I've taught you well. I knew it. You were trying to trick me. You can drop the little prude act, by the way. You've had to wash my underwear 100 times by now. Your underwear is not the same thing as your naked body. I'm not naked, though. I'm wearing boxers. Besides, this is nothing compared to your Harlequin novel. Weren't they rolling around half naked on the floor at one point? That's what we'd like to do with you. I'm surprised she's closing her eyes instead of being, like, staring him down. But this is all the pretext of, like, we don't know that she's a motherfucking crazy till the end. We're supposed to be like, oh my god, she doesn't want to be here. No, she wants to be here. She wants to look, you know it. La 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 la, I'm not listening! Ah! Unable to bear it, I dropped to my knees. Oh, that's not a good place to be. All that screaming had left me out of breath. Then after a moment, I heard the bathroom door open and shut. I raised my head and slowly, timidly opened my eyes. Evidently, Gretel had actually gone back into the bathroom this time. I could hear the water running. You'd think that would be enough to fool me, but the joke's on you! I whirled around to find... no one there. Wait, what? He just wanted to come out in his underwear to freak you out. Now then, where was I? Gretel's taking a bath. So what's my next move? If this were a perfect world, I'd have some cringy costume ready for him to wear. But unfortunately, my life wasn't that convenient at present. So I decided to look through the cabin for any alternatives. Where will you investigate? The birdcage. Still can't get used to how creepy this thing is. I walked around the full circumference of the birdcage. I think we have to choose all of them, so. It appeared to be an ordinary metal cage with no modifications, but it contrasted sharply with the rest of the decor, and my curiosity was drawn to it like a magnet. Oh, it opened. As I fumbled at the door handle with my bound hands, I felt the lock click open. And so I walked into the cage without a second thought. Being inside it felt much more cramped and oppressive than its external appearance would suggest. But I guess cages aren't really supposed to be comfortable. The kitchen. I wandered into the kitchen. Then I checked the cupboard and fridge, but couldn't find anything especially interesting. Phew! We only had paper plates and plastic silverware. Anything that could be used as a weapon, like the kitchen knives, were stored out of my reach. Evidently he was looking out for my safety. Or maybe his own. It was hard to say. I peered under the bed. It was too dark to see much of anything. I squinted as best I could, but as far as I could see, the floor was perfectly spotless. I opened the closet to find my freshly cleaned clothes hanging up to dry. I didn't realize he hung them up for me. I turned around so I could feel whether they were all dry. Nice and dry. Good. It was still early winter, but with the wood-burning stove running 24/7, the interior of the cabin was toasty warm. That must have helped. Additionally, I could see some clothes I didn't recognize. There were a few shopping bags sitting on the floor of the closet. I reached in and found several more pairs of women's underwear. Oh. I knew he was only trying to be considerate, but I couldn't help but feel a little weirded out. Upon further inspection, I realized these all still had the tags attached. He really went out and bought me brand new underwear, huh? Granted, he might have ordered them online for all I knew, but I didn't understand why he couldn't have simply grabbed some from my room instead. Because he wants you to have the sexy, lacy, strappy, thongy things, you know. I want you in my panties. Wait. No, the ones he picked out for you, not the ones that he wears secretly. You know he wears your underwear in secret. Was there a reason he felt the need to purchase new ones? Because he's worn all yours out. Why risk the embarrassment of buying women's underwear? Lastly, I stood in front of the wood-burning stove. Because he's going, I'm buying them for my girlfriend. And then everybody thinks he's getting laid. When secretly he's just wearing them. Whatever. The smell of ash met my nostrils, and when I bent down, I could see embers still glowing faintly through the tiny glass window. So much for that, I guess. Gretel had extinguished the fire himself. Supposedly he did it to keep me safe. But though the fire was out, there was still enough residual heat to keep me warm. I had now examined the entire cabin. Sadly, I had failed to discover anything especially interesting. And again, I guess I already did most of the investigating yesterday. Well, now what? There was nothing left for me to do. I guess I don't have a choice. Oh well. The only option available to me was to make him laugh at my own expense. You guessed it, making funny faces. So I donned the weirdest face I could come up with and waited patiently for Gretel to come out of the bathroom. I'm back. Is he he's wearing a fucking suit vest. Well, this is an apron. It's like, I'm assuming this is a sprite that they used of him when we were in Cinderella's route and we were working there like he was a waiter in the cafe or something, because it looks like he's wearing it's like a vest looking thing, but he's got the ties down here as like an apron. And it looks like there's a notepad in it. Hold on. Yeah, he's absolutely wearing, this is actually a fucking a waiting apron. Why didn't you do, anyway. That's me. Then I burst out laughing. Yes, me, not him. Why are you wearing that? He'd walked out wearing a waiter uniform of all things. Okay, so they're calling it out. They're blatantly pointing. I was like, did they think we wouldn't notice? Okay, they did it on purpose. I struggled to contain myself. Don't I look good in it? Oh, totally. Of course you do. I nodded vigorously. I'm sorry. I just wasn't expecting you to walk out wearing that. And now we match, see? Oh, you're right. We're like a cosplay couple. I made myself laugh again. Looking back, I'm not sure why I found this so hilarious. I guess it just struck my funny bone in such a way that I caused a giggle fit. Go on. It's your turn to take a shower, remember? Gretel walked over and untied my hands and feet. I could smell a faint whiff of something nice. You smell sweet. I leaned in closer to his hair. I couldn't tell if it was vanilla or honey or what. So do you, sister. Then I remembered. There was only one kind of soap in the bathroom. Too bad I can't really smell my own scent. I sniffed my newly I sniffed my newly freed wrists. Gretel gave me a little push toward the bathroom. Get going already. I'll fetch you some clothes. He walked to the closet and pulled out a towel along with a change of clothes, underwear included. Are these the kind of panties you're into, Gretel? But of course. Embarrassed, I stared at the floor and regretted ever asking. While you're in there, I'll make you something to eat. Any requests in particular? Hit me with your specialty. Very well. After my shower, I changed into my new clothes and sat down to eat with Gretel. He had prepared cupcakes adorned with whipped cream and candied rose and violet petals. But these cupcakes weren't just pretty, they tasted amazing too. Gretel had filled each of them with some sort of violet jam. Plus the tea served me came with violet petals and mint leaves floating on the surface. All in all, it was very classy. I mean, he's a waiter. How is it? Phenomenal! Is it? I'm glad. Okay. So now this is all previously read stuff. Okay, so that's actually interesting. That was a lot of stuff we hadn't seen before. Eat the pancake? Yes, eat the pancake. Yes. Are you enjoying this hug? Yes, I am. And then, okay. So then we're supposed to do save 2. And then this is where we get the choice, like in light of his suffering, what do? We tell him to eat meat and we get the bad ending. Whatever. So we already did that ending, so I'm not going to do it again. So we'll just tell him not to and we'll just, continue. Because we already did this bad ending. So we don't need to do save 2, do it, and then reload save 2. So gonna have to remember that. So tell him not to eat me. All right. We may pause. I mean, it depends on how much is different now from this point forward, but we definitely have one more choice. So I don't know if we'll get our good ending in this part or not. We'll see. I can't see the computer screens in the way of my guide. This is a lot of previously read, so. Okay, so we said I'll wait for him. We're supposed to, I'll stop him. Stop him. Don't go! Don't go. Please don't leave me all alone. Sister. I need you to sit tight and be patient, sister. Okay, so. What will you request of Gretel? We said please come back to me. We're supposed to say please don't hurt yourself for my sake. Please don't hurt yourself for my sake. What do you mean, for your sake? The more you try to protect me, the more you'll end up hurting yourself. Can you accept this selfish demand of mine? Okay. Oh. Quick save. Because we were supposed to save after that, and I didn't. Will you break out of your wrist restraints? So save 3. We're supposed to say no. Can I go back? Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. Now we can save. But that's save 2. We'll do this as save 3. Okay. So, will you break out of your restraints? No. But now we're also supposed to, before our next choice, save 4. Okay. After all, Gretel took the key with him. No matter how hard I struggled, I was stuck in here. In which case, I needed to conserve my energy for other things. In the darkness, I squinted around the room. I guess it'd be silly to expect anything to have changed. The cage was cramped, and I couldn't move without bumping up against the sides. The metal bars were cold to the touch, threatening to freeze me to the core. Brrr. Okay. I mean, this is where we were in the last part, so. Will you call out to the surprise visitor? We're supposed to say no. But then this gives us a bad ending. Oh, no. If we choose... Okay. Save 4. If we choose no, it gives us a bad ending. But I wonder if it's the bad ending we've seen before. And yes continues on to the happy ending. I want to see if this well, you know what? We'll save 4. We'll continue and try to get... It's really confusing because the guide does this, and then you reload save 4, and then you continue, and then you do save 5, and then you get a bad ending, and then you load save 5, and then you keep going and get... So confusing. I think this is going to be the same ending we already got. And because we're at 30 minutes, I'm going to say no. I want to see if this is the same ending we got. I decided to stay quiet and pretend like no one was home. If Red saw me in this cage, things would only get awkward. I held my breath and waited, but the knocking had stopped. Evidently, Red had decided no one was here and walked off. Phew! But here's the weird thing. We don't get that last choice, but I feel like this is... Well, anyway, I let out the breath I was holding. I never had imagined we'd get any visitors out here, other than the wild card that was the wizard, of course. Granted, I didn't know exactly how much time had passed since we first arrived at the candy house, but it was at least enough to heal my injuries. And since no one had visited in that time, I figured there was some kind of mystical force at play, warding them all off. I'm sorry, Red. I gazed forlornly at the door. For Gretel's sake, I couldn't let myself get rescued. Huh, this is different. I awoke to a loud crackling sound and a particular burnt smell. Flames danced before my eyes. The room was filled with heat and smoke, but none of this surprised me. This was a chimney fire caused by creosote igniting the inside of the chimney, which we've already read this. I noticed that the chimney flue hadn't been cleaned in quite some time. I knew it would cause a chimney fire sooner or later, but I purposely didn't warn Gretel. After all, I was planning to burn the witch who had tried to consume him. Okay, it's slightly different. Gretel... I'd severed so many connections. He was the only one I had left. My love for him was my dearest treasure. He was my favorite person in the whole world. I'd always kept this treasure dear to me. But Gretel was different. He had grown up without any connections. All he believed in was our sibling relationship. What he loved wasn't me. It was our brother-sister connection. Thus, I decided to exorcise the witch who had tried to tempt and control him. That way he'd finally be free to live his life. Sister! I could hear Gretel's voice on the other side of the door. Sister, I'm coming in to save you. Hang in there. Evidently, he had come to my rescue for some reason. So the weird thing is this guy doesn't have the ending that we got, because this is different. Unless he comes up, but then he doesn't have the ribbon. You know what I mean? So it's so weird. Okay, so I'm just really confused. There might be more bad endings that we don't know about. I don't know. Evidently, he'd come to my rescue for some reason. However... Damn it! Why won't it open? Sister! Sister! The door refused to open. I figured this was the ending we got. Silently, I prayed that he would escape unharmed. If he crawled headfirst into this fire, someone might just shut the door behind him. I could scarcely breathe. My eyelids were getting heavy. All I could do was wait for the fire to consume me. This way, I'll forever be your perfect older sister. And so I closed my eyes. Wow. I mean, that one came fast, but, like, I'm just confused. Where's... You threw yourself into the fires of hell. A connection is a bond, but so too is it a chain. Your brother may have been freed from the Witch of Desire, but he's far from unchained. You cannot let the sister die alongside the witch. This is really weird because... Where's the ending we got? You know what I mean? Anyway, this is... So, load save 4. So, blah, blah, blah. So we're supposed to call out to the surprise visitor. Okay. Oh, that's true, because we didn't untie our hands. See, there's a difference. I'm betting if you say yes, you break out of your wrist restraints, and yes, you call out to the visitor, then you get a different bad ending. But load save 3 will get the yes, but we don't call out to the surprise visitor, and then we have an additional choice that we didn't get the first time. So there's an extra ending that this guy doesn't have. Holy shit. So, like, I don't know how many endings there actually are for Gretel, because one guide had 3, this one has 4, and we found a 5th one. But I don't know, anyway. For now, could you do me a favor and untie my hands? I turned and pointed my wrists in his direction. Understood. With a flutter, the restraints fell away, and I was free at last. I'm glad to see they haven't cut into your skin. He let out a breath of relief. Unless this is the same ending that we already got. Well, no, because... No, this is definitely not it, because we're getting another well, I don't know. Yeah, they weren't tied too tightly. Plus, you know, these ribbons are made of silk. According to Gretel, anyway. Otherwise, it could have been a lot more painful. That said, having my arms stuck behind my back made them go numb. First time around, at least. Then I got used to it. I imagine he would never want to do you any harm. Red muttered to himself. Yeah. I muttered back, then I turned back to face him. By the way, Red... Hold on. Let's make our save 5. Because we're gonna have to have a save 5. Unless it's the same ending, we just don't have that choice. Could very well be it, but... Yeah, see, this is a choice we'd ever got. So... we're gonna do... Technically, this is where we'd get a bad ending here, but we're going to say no, and we're going to get our happy ending this time. Okay. And then we'll come back and do the other endings that we didn't do, which is 1, 3, 5. Because we've done 2 and 4. 2 we didn't save, but we did 4 already. I'm going to fucking forget. Anyway, will you forsake your dearest treasure? No. So wait. Gretel, you have to run. Never. Okay, I'm just saying, the fire closes into the flames. Gretel, you have to run. So this is all the same stuff that we had. Think about it. If you stay here, we'll both die. You have to leave me here. You have to live, Gretel. I know, but I can't just leave you here. And then it's will you forsake your greatest treasure. Okay. No! I refuse to sit around and wait to die. Then you have to abandon me. Maybe if you say yes... then we get the ending that we got, but we just didn't get that choice. Because choosing breaking out of our restraints and calling out to Red kind of forced that ending. We'll find out in the next part, but... then you have to abandon me. I won't do that either. Gretel! Instead, I've decided to sacrifice my treasure. He smiled sadly. Did we say yes? I thought we said no. Honestly, it was silly anyway. I always wished I could go to university with you, but all I would have had to do was pass my exams and graduate community college. Instead, I was greedy. I wanted to be in the same year as you. So what I really wanted was for everyone to see us, not as siblings, but as longtime friends, and as lovers. I was never going to be able to keep up the brother charade forever. Your charm's far too irresistible for your precious baby brother. I'd always lusted after you. I longed to kiss you and have sex with you. Do you still feel that way? I do. At any given hour of the day. I'm a young guy in my prime. Are you kidding me? We can't kiss or have sex unless we survive this. Sister, if you're going to burn, let it be with passion for me. Kindle my desire, not the stove. Sounds so funny in this context. We're literally surrounded by flames. Burn for me! So, you don't mind if you get burned? Not at all. In exchange, I'll have my fill of you. I'll have you know, I've been very hungry for a very long time. You'd best prepare yourself. I'm pretty sure I asked you to feed on me. I guess he wasn't ready. He had to make that decision himself. What are you doing? Weirdos. So, You don't mind if I consume you? Better than starving to death. Even if it means I'll stop being your sister. Even then. Even if I'm not your glittering jewel anymore. I don't mind. Even if you turn into some worthless pebble, you'll be the pebble that guides me home. If we go back home, they'll tear us apart, you know. I don't care. You might end up alone, with no connections of your own. Even then, it's preferable to the pain of losing you, Spacey. He smiled sheepishly. Gretel. Back then I vowed I was going to cuddle you. And with you I don't need any stupid candy. No matter the bitter pill, I'll prove I can swallow it. Now let's go home. Together. Maybe he was just putting himself on a diet. Without an incredible amount of courage, he couldn't possibly have forsaken the very treasure he fought so hard to protect. And yet here he was, willing to do it for my sake. It all meant so much to me. Tears welled in my eyes as I shouted, "Yeah, let's go home. I want to stay with you." Just then, with a click, the lock fell to the floor. The lock! Gretel opened the cage door and extended a hand to me. "Here, give me your hand!" "Right!" I took his hand in mine, and together we escaped the cage. "Are you two all right?" As soon as we walked outside, Red Riding Hood doused us in water. "Thank goodness. So glad you're both safe." "Red Riding Hood." "The fire truck will be here any moment now. It's not safe here. Please evacuate." "All right." A short distance away, we stopped and looked back at the candy house. It was engulfed in scarlet flames. As we gazed blankly at it through the darkness, Gretel pulled me close. It all went up in flames. Yeah. I'm not sure anything will be left by the time the fire's out. Yeah. But now the Wicked Witch has been defeated. We're free. I mean, like, it took me this long to be like, oh, yeah, like Hansel and Gretel, right? And they go to the candy house and they stuff the witch into the fireplace, so that explains why we were going to burn ourselves where the witch... And it was seeing them standing there, and I was like, oh, duh. Click. Look, you know. I don't know if they burned the whole house down. I mean, I know they stuffed her into the fire because she was going to eat them, and that's why they're talking about the consuming and everything. Like, I'm not the brightest fucking crayon in the box right now. Oh my god. Right. Thank you, Gretel. I literally played the last part in this one back to back. That's why. So, like, it's only been a couple of hours. It just took a little long to sink in. We smiled at each other, our faces both covered in soot. "I'm sorry, but you better give me a kiss, CG, or, like, I'm fucking out." After that, the fire department arrived. Fortunately, the fire was extinguished before it could spread to the rest of the forest. They brought us in for questioning, and after a few days, we were finally able to go home again. "He got so fed up with your bullshit, he flew away, Bird." Mom and Dad took one look at us and started crying tears of joy. Upon further inspection, I realized they both looked really gaunt. They were both so tormented by our absence, they had scarcely eaten a single bite of bread. "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry." Later. "You idiot!" Ow! "You monster! You didn't have to hit us!" "You have no right to complain after what you put us through. Do you realize how worried we all were?" Obviously, my brother was furious. "I'm sorry." "I'm sorry, too." We both apologized on our hands and knees. They had every right to be angry with us. We had no defense. We both hung our heads guiltily. Ryoshi sighed heavily. Then he reached out and ruffled our hair aggressively. Where did that come from? For now, I'm just glad you're safe. Welcome home, Spacey. And Gretel. He smiled at us affectionately. I didn't even know Ryoshi was capable of smiling like that. Gretel and I exchanged a look. Then we recited in unison, "We're home!" To save his sister, the younger brother Gretel sacrificed his most precious treasure. Quite possibly, he had lost his only family, his only real connection. But in exchange, his sister's treasure would surely create a new bond. And so, having returned from the candy house with treasure in hand, they lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time in the looking-glass world, there was a young man named Gretel. Gretel had an older sister who he was very proud of. She was smart, beautiful, and worth her weight in jewels. Gretel wanted to be as good as her, so he worked hard in everything he did, from schoolwork to sports. He built up an image of the perfect brother to match his sister, but that was not the real him. Beneath his mild-mannered facade was a violent, destructive impulse. One day, something small set off his hair-triggered temper. Another student made a vulgar comment, and in retaliation, Gretel beat him black and blue. From there, his life went completely off the rails. Following the incident, his older brother confined him to a stark white room and administered medication. At first, Gretel resisted, but when he thought of his sweet sister, he endured the punishment and obeyed. Once he was free from the white room, Gretel stopped relying on his sister. Instead, he wanted his sister to rely on him. He was terrified that his beloved sister would one day abandon him. After all, he knew he wasn't her real brother. In order to keep himself calm, Gretel ate candy at all times. He was convinced that his sister and his candy were the only things he needed. Their lives were peaceful and happy, and he was sure those happy days would last forever. But that happiness was fragile, and one small mistake made it all fall apart. Yet again, Gretel had hurt someone. Friends of Gretel's victim had exacted revenge upon Gretel's sister. When he learned his beloved sister was hurt, Gretel lost all sense of rationality and went on a rampage. And this time, he crossed a line that was never meant to be crossed. His sister caught him in the act. Crying, he begged her not to abandon him. Then his precious sister took her adopted baby brother by the hand and wandered deep into the forest. They had no need for moonlight or guideposts. They weren't going home. After all, they had abandoned their home. Together they wandered the forest for who knows how long. Then they came across a tiny cabin in the woods. It was a candy house. The four walls were white. The furniture was all white. White, 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 as far as the eye could see. The eerie white house had all the essentials needed for a home: food, clothes, and a wood-burning stove. And so the two siblings decided to make this their home sweet home. But the longer they lived there, the more it began to affect Gretel. He laced his beloved sister's food with candy to keep her memory hazy. Then he tied her hands and feet and stole her agency. Gretel was battling the desire to devour his sister. But time was running out. He had used the candy to suppress his urges, but now the candy was running low. As the effects of the candy faded, his sister regained her memories. She felt pity for Gretel, who suffered because of her, and so she decided to throw herself into the fire. She had realized that she was the wicked witch who controlled Gretel. Gretel was faced with an impossible choice. He could sacrifice their sibling relationship and live with her as her lover, or he could die as her brother. His sister was his only connection, his dearest treasure. After a lot of thought, Gretel sacrificed his treasure to save his sister, the witch. Instantly, the witch transformed into a princess and gave Gretel a new treasure. And so, having returned from the candy house with treasure in hand, they lived happily ever after. I'm just proud of myself that I got through that whole fucking thing without, like, stumbling over the words, okay? Like, every time we tried with the other routes, I was like, oh, damn it! Aww, that's so cute. Anyway. There, all set. How does it look? It matches you perfectly, of course. I bought it for you after all. Do you honestly question my taste? No, I trust you. You seem pleased. Of course I am. It's such a sweet gift. It's the ribbon that we were all tied up with. Notice we have one around our neck, and then there's one around our wrist, but we also have the one in our hair. I'm glad to see you're enjoying it so much. And plus, I'm sure these ribbons are glad to be used for their intended purpose for a change. Although I wouldn't mind wrapping your whole body in ribbons, and that way it's a gift for me too. Whoa there, buddy. Too far? Way too far. You liked it, don't lie. I'm not lying, I think. I heard that. You know, when you react like that, it tells me you want me to keep going. Good grief. You have no idea how hard I'm trying to hold back. This is you holding back? It is, actually. Isn't it obvious? I can't just have my way with you. You mean too much to me. I'm the type to save my favorite food for last. God, what are you going to do? Wait till you're on the deathbed? Why'd you go all quiet all of a sudden? You love to coddle me, don't you? Damn right I do. Although I admit your brother has already warned me not to do it too much, or you'll get a big head. Seriously? Damn it, Ryoshi. And yet I find myself doing it anyway. I just love you so much. I feel bad for disobeying my brother-in-law, but I have no plans of letting up anytime soon. What's wrong? In-law? Oh, that. He's my brother in name only. The two of us aren't actually related. But in the future, when we're married, he'll be my in-law. Following that logic, your parents will be my in-laws too. So we'll be your family. And you get to fuck me. Bam! Everybody wins. You get a family and you get to fuck your not exactly sister, but sister. See? Perfect. How did I fail to see this sooner? What an easy way to make a family. That's because you're an idiot. You know you're not going to have a sister-in-law, right? No, but instead I'll have a wife. Or shall I say, my bride-to-be. It's too early to get married, so we can stay boyfriend and girlfriend for now. Think of it as a dress rehearsal. Right. Admittedly, I am rather grateful to your brother, and your mother, and your father. If they hadn't fought for me as hard as they did, we wouldn't be here right now. No, we'd be dead, because we did that route twice. Yeah. Even if we can't take the same classes, we'll still be at the same school. And if it means I can be at school with you, then I'll be as perfect as humanly possible. Of course, I'll work hard to make up for your mistakes, too. I'll apologize on your behalf as many times as it takes, sister. Slip of the tongue. I meant to say Spacey. You know that there's going to be some point where they're doing it, and he's going to be like, sister. Because it's kind of become a kink now for him, I think. Let's roleplay. Let's just go back to when you were my sister. It's a little fucking weird. This whole route's weird. But I actually love it. Like, it is fucked up. But she was just as fucked up as him. That's all I'm saying. You can keep calling me sister if you want to, sweetie. Are you mocking me? Of course not. After all the times I've called you sister, it's become a habit I can't quite kick. What's wrong with that? A lot of things. You're my girlfriend, Spacey. I can't keep referring to you as my sister. But then again, if you want me to, I don't mind slipping up every once in a while. Yeah, we're both freaks. Yes, please. We are such freaks! Good grief. You're not supposed to cuddle me like this, you know. I can't help it. I just love you so much. You're my treasure, so of course I'm going to coddle you. You're completely incorrigible. Oh, actually... What is it? What would you like in exchange for the ribbon? You don't have to repay me. Yes, I do. As much as I love it when you spoil me, this relationship will be awfully one-sided unless I make it up to you. I can bet you wouldn't know what he wants. Fine, if you insist. In that case, would you get me a matching ribbon? A ribbon? Really? Do you know why I got you a ribbon in the first place, dear sister? Because I wanted it to be a symbol of our connection. Like a good luck charm? Yes. May we be tied together forevermore. By tying the ribbon to you, I was essentially making a wish. Oh, but also, I wanted to stake my claim, and that way all the other men would know not to lay a hand on my treasure. You know how possessive I can be, right? Of course. I know everything about you, Gretel. Then I want you to tie a ribbon to me in turn. Pray that we'll be together for the rest of our lives. I've already made that prayer 1,000 times, and I'll probably keep praying for it for the rest of my life. Because I never want these happy days to end. In that case, I'd better make it happen. This means I'll have to suck it up and put in a lot of effort, but I'll give it my best. I'm a total sucker for you, so I can't help but want to make all your dreams come true. Spacey, the days I spend with you are my most irreplaceable treasure. I vow to cherish you always, so please stay with me forevermore. And they lived happily ever after. Oh, look at the little chibis, they're so cute. The cage in the background. Boop. Oh. Oh, now we can see memories. I'm assuming these are all Kaguya ones. Probably. We'll at least go through the ones that we have, so. Yeah, I mean, look, I know Gretel keeps us tied up and we're in a cage and it's like the Toma situation all over again, but I did not hate this route. Look, again, he had moments in the beginning when he was like insinuating we needed to lose weight and shit or we weren't being ladylike. Bitch, I'ma backhand you! You can tie me up all you want, but like, whatever. But no, we were just as fucked up as him. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact it got better, I think, as it went along, and then you found out, like, she's just as fucking cray-cray, and she's like, I like this, and I'm in love with him, and you're like, oh, okay, so we down with this, and like, we both crazy motherfucking bitches. And I think that's what made it work so well. That we were just crazy assholes, too. This one actually is really cute, because he's so adorable, but then she's got the cat fucking ears. Oh, this is where we told him to eat us. See, and then he was happy about it. And then he threw himself into the fire. Now he's not happy about it. Oh, God. Yeah. I definitely did not hate this one. Oh, that's true. We did get a kissy CG technically right before we got a bad ending. I don't see how this was bad. I mean, yes, it was bad because we were like, devour me, and he couldn't handle it then. So yeah, we have... I'm guessing the next part will probably be short. Because we probably don't have any more CGs to get. But we'll have... What? We have to do save one, which will just be seeing some different, like, conversation scenes. Oh, actually, no. We've probably already seen all that. Do you have a problem with it? Yes. Do you believe Gretel? No. Well, we said yes, but do you have a problem with it? Yes. It'll be the same thing we already read, but we'll skip through it anyway just to double check. But I just realized we saw all the new stuff this time because we chose, do you have a problem with it? No. And I chose yes the first time, so. There's our beautiful, aww. And like, this should be the one that we end on because it was the happy end CG, but like, we want just our boyfriendo in the thing, like. She still has giant derpy eyes. Like, not gonna lie. They're not that bad. And then look at our little end CG. Oh. It's so cute. I actually really love their little chibis in this. That can't be the one we end on. That's actually a good one because it's like he's happy and it's not like towering over you or it's gonna turn out bad. But yeah, so the next part will probably be short. We'll double check just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure if we load save one and we do those choices, it's gonna be the same stuff I read the first time we played through the game. But we'll double check. And then we have to do save 3 and then save 5. So we have 2 bad endings to get in the next part. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.